Greetings. Today I want to speak to you concerning Vincentians awakening and evolution. I'm speaking about people becoming more aware, people becoming more open-minded, and people becoming more awakened to the fact that they have been programmed to think and act a certain way. And all of that have to do with colonization, how the minds have been colonized by the colonizers through the educational system that they give them, along with the religious and political system. And so, not until they evolve and become more awakened that they would realize that I am not a crazy man, that I would have never lost my mind the way they think. I've lost my mind. I've lost my mind from colonialism and from the white man idol that they give our people to worship. And I would have brainwashed myself from such thinking. That is why I always point you to look inwardly and to realize that your real identity is your divinity. But on the other hand, they were raised to look outwardly because they were given secular Christianity and they were given the image of the colonizer to worship. And so when you worship the slave master God, how you expect the slave master God to answer you? That is why many of the religious and superstitious minds, they still live a life that doesn't reflect God. Okay, but what really helped me to know for sure that someone has stolen our people's identity and they're pretending to be us is when that black man walk out of that burning bush that doesn't consume, the man that walk out of that fire and give me my commission. And it was a Ethiopian looking man, and he was a melanated man. And I've never ever been a part of any religion outside of basically say Christianity, because I actually grew up with that. So I've never been like a Rastafarian or any such. Okay. Now, when I had my awakening and I start living my life, the way I see it through the mind of God. Okay, let me put it that way. Okay, because I discover my God self, my true self, my higher self. All at once, people start to refer to me as Ras. Even if I shave, people still calling me Ras. Okay, and so on. And so I realize that when you look at Christians and Rastafarians, that the Rastafarians are more closer to the truth than Christian, because they're worshiping a white man, okay, and failing to see their own image and likeness. While on the other hand, they might say that the Rastafarians, they are worshiping, Selassie and so on and all of that, but they are actually seeing their image and their likeness because they're seeing a black man. Do they see one outside of themselves, physically speaking? Okay, esoterically speaking, they are actually looking within themselves and they are beholding an image of themselves. Okay, because everything starts with the mind. Okay, so let's say a black person call and white Jesus, and a white person call and white Jesus. They actually calling on their image and their likeness, so they're seeing God in their image and their likeness. But you, the black person, when you do that, you're not seeing God in your image and your likeness. So that is basically self-hate, self-doubt, guilt, shame, doubt, fear, and all of these negative traits will always follow you. once you have that kind of mindset. So my brother, my sisters, you have to be very much open-minded to believe the things that I'm saying as one who grew up in this island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Okay? And you will find like people who travel and would have lived outside of the country for a while and so on. They might more gravitate to what I am saying. They might more have a better understanding of what I'm saying. Let me just share something with you. I remember a young man who one time I promoted a bodybuilding show. I would have promoted more than one bodybuilding shows in the island, as a matter of fact. But the very first one, that young man, you know, I even went to the newspaper because he was like 16 years of age. And so on. I think he used to live in Canada and he came back and so on and all of that. He was 16 years of age and so on. And I, you know, I put him in the newspaper and so on because at that young age and how he was looking and all of that. And sometime later, he started to get some dreams. Some years later, though, right? And I was trying to interpret in the dreams to him, okay, because I could interpret dreams, okay, and show him how symbolic they really are and so on. But at the same time, he was getting himself, he was mingling with some Christian woman, okay, and I had an uncle. I remember that guy tell me, stay away from me, don't have nothing to do with he. That is of the devil, that is some devil cross and all kind of foolishness. Doesn't even know the name of it is a ang. Doesn't even know where its origin come from. Doesn't even know that he have something to do with the womb he come from. He doesn't even know that. He doesn't even know that he have something to do with his eternal self. He doesn't even know none of those things. Okay? And I leave him. Okay? That is just to show you how when you do not have an open mind, how it will cause separation, how it will cause confusion, okay? And so me doing this video is not to argue with anyone, is not to change anyone from believing in what they want to believe, but is to challenge you to know that true knowing is experiential. You have to have the experience, because all the people who ever listen to me and actually really believe, they would have gotten visitation from black ancestors and their life would have changed. For example, a young man in this island who listened to me, he was in a debt of a certain amount. As a matter of fact, was over $100,000 in debt. Okay, he left the job that he had with government, and I was the only man who stood with him and tell him he made the right move and so on, and he will find his purpose and all of that. Even his parents was against that move, and they believe he listening to me was bad company and all of that. But to cut a long story short, right now the man is killing it, in so much that the parents want to get a piece of what he's doing. Okay, but I'm the one not going to too much of detail into that, right? But I'm really glad for him. There's another young man, you know, who spent a few time with me, okay, and you know, he listened to what I was saying, and so I started to put things to practice. Started to practice, you know, to calm his mind down. He started to visualize, and everything's changed. The business, he started to make even much more money in the business and so on. So my brother, my sisters, you know, in these colonial islands, these islands are being colonialized. What is really going on, right, is basically economic slavery. And you have to break economic slavery. You can't know God, and you just barely making ends meet, and you're just living from paycheck to paycheck and so on, and you owe the bank, and you know, you're carrying all these yoke around your neck with credit union and bank and so on. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But my brother, my sisters, I'm saying that there will be an awakening in this island, and when the awakening take place, the people would also evolve. Okay, so I'm looking forward for the awakening and the evolving of the people. Okay, so the people will definitely, you know, expand their consciousness. They will start to read more. Okay, and I'm putting things in place to get people to read more, okay, and to read the right kind of books. You know, the only library we have here is a library that programming with academic education. And as a matter of fact, in this country, it was said by a very prominent person. As a matter of fact, the leader of the island tell the people, oh, I'll give you an education revolution, and everybody embrace education revolution. But as I come to a close, do you realize the bench was first imagined? the pencil, the book, all of these things, the building the cars was first imagine. Do you realize that imagination was before academic education? Do you realize what they call education, academic education? It was first called higher learning. It came out of slavery basically to get obedient servants to work in the fields and so on, and to get, you know, the meager wages and so on, and to be very obedient. You know that, but that is another subject for another time. But my brother, my sisters, the reason why I'm doing this video, because I want people to become more open-minded so they could evolve, okay, and they could become more aware and realize that everything is created twice, first in the mind and then on the outside. To understand the law of correspondence, to understand the law of mentalism, to understand the law of cause and effect, to understand all of these things, and to see why most people in this country who are trapped in secular Christianity, why their life is not bringing forth to bring more, you know, employment to their brothers and their sisters, and more joy and peace and happiness. You see, they're not reflecting God, because when you really act in a God self, you'll be more creative, you'll be more innovative. Okay, a lot of things I'm doing behind the scene that gonna really help to uplift this island in a positive way. Okay, and if you listen to me and you live outside of the country, let's say you live in America, Canada, England, and those places, I think you would have already gotten enough experience and realized that the land of opportunity is right between your two ears and not out in those places. So my encouragement to you is to come back home. Let us build this country together. We have a country to build, and we have a people to save. We're going to save them from their own selves. Because when they look in the mirror and realize that the devil is the negative self, and they discover their God self, the higher self, and they start to operate in their higher self, trust me, we'll have a better country with more civilized people. Okay, and when I say civilized, you know, it's people who are more self-conscious, people who are more self-aware, people who understand the power of self-knowledge. Okay, and they realize that imagination revolution is greater than academic education revolution. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you listen to me, what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you, if it really resonates with you, and you have a subscriber already, I'm definitely encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me and TikTok, you can follow me at Black Mad Guru. And if you would like to do a one-on-one, you know, you want to be mentored by me, you would like to read my books, whatsoever you desire, my encouragement to you is to check out all of the links that are down below and let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.